Hello there everybody, Sabanai2 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Rose Guns Day Season 2. In the last episode, we got to see not one, not two, not three, but 4 new fucking faces. But we kind of did a bit of a time skip. Now, good old Wayne's in a very snazzy outfit now. And got a bit of a wardrobe change for Rose, just for like a little bit at least. And along with these 4 new people, among these 4 people, we have a girl who's seems to have amnesia, not sure who she is. But from what we gathered, she must have been, she was clearly being chased by these guys that were trying to put her into slave trade. Or sex trafficking, which it's a shame those guys aren't dead.
When we left, it was already neon light time in the city. In this season, when you can forget the summer heat and fall is finally here for good, it starts getting darker earlier. Apparently, that sense of the seasons was something I remembered. I guess memory loss isn't an all-or-nothing thing.
I guess not. I'm Wayne, Rosan's bodyguard.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for taking care of me today.
Is this your first time in City 23?
Probably. Sorry, I don't know.
I'll bet. Stupid question to ask. It's gotten a lot better lately, but it still isn't high class enough for a woman to walk around alone at night. If you get into any trouble with someone, tell them I'm taking care of you. That'll probably put a stop to it.
Wow, he just casually said something pretty cool. Does that mean this guy's a pretty big name in this city? True enough, though he wore his suit like a young person, it was of the best quality. Even this car was a luxury car, way too fancy for a mere bodyguard to be driving around. I may have been lost and confused, but I got the feeling that I might be in the care of some pretty incredible people.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
What should I do next?
I'll get you a temporary place to sleep. You can live there however you like. Rosan said you can stay however long it takes for your memory to come back.
Put that way, it made me want to remember everything quick to spare them the trouble. I wonder if it'll all just pop back into my head once I've had a good sleep.
Probably. I'm not entirely sure. I've never really met anybody or seen anybody that's had amnesia before, so I'm not entirely sure.
Then, if I turned out to be the daughter of someone who owned a diamond mine, we could offer Madame Rose a huge reward or something. Nah, not like that'd ever happen.
Rosan wouldn't want to do anything to trouble you. She sympathizes with your situation from the bottom of her heart.
I understand. She had the eyes of a good person.
Her kindness always comes with no strings attached. So don't worry.
At the very least, he seemed to trust Madame Rose from the bottom of his heart. Yeah. It's true that the memory loss has made me anxious, but that's no reason to doubt their kindness. If they were really bad people, they would have tied me up back at the club, sold me off, and had done with it.
Well, they're not bad people, though, so that's good.
After driving around a bit, the car stopped in a dimly lit and not particularly prosperous-looking shopping district. A signboard told me that this was a store for musical instruments, but it also seemed to have been empty for some time. Is this a music store?
It used to be. A kind old man ran it, but he died and the store closed. When his wife left Tokyo, she gave the store to us. It's basically an apartment now.
Oh. When we entered through the back door, sure enough, there was no music store, but instead the traces of everyday life. There was laundry, which was still hanging up to dry at this hour, and hung in a really messy style, too. Trash and empty bottles were piled up on the side of the door, as though someone was always planning to throw them out tomorrow. It looked like the sort of cheap temporary apartment that a poor student who had come to Tokyo from the countryside might have lived in. No, that's probably too kind a description. It looked like a sports-minded room with no attempt made at neatness and order.
Who knows? Maybe Maho and, maybe they were here. Oliver, are you there? Is her room ready? He called out as he climbed the stairs, but there was no reply. Oh! This must be where those kids live, huh?
Instead, there were clattering, thunking sounds as though someone was moving out of the house.
I was looking for this. Oh wait, that sure takes me back.
That's trash, isn't it? Throw it away.
It's not trash. These are all treasure to me.
If it's treasure, why don't you try putting it away? The same thing can be a treasure if you keep it neat, but a mountain of trash if you just leave it lying around.
It's amazing that the floor never fell through before now. Hey, put that over there. Still, why did you put this off until today? Haven't I always told you to clean up?
If talking could clean anything up, then I'd talk every day.
You tell us to clean up like you're so important, and then you just lie back and read a book.
I'm always busy with my studies. That's why I leave the cleaning up to those who have nothing better to do.
Jeez! What the heck? I'd really like to hear what brilliant accomplishments you've made thanks to these noble studies of yours.
This pile of secondhand books is all stuff you bought and never read, right? So why don't you clean them up?
Seriously, you're really getting on my nerves.
I can't understand a word to that dialect of yours. Learn how to speak proper Japanese. I say in English.
What did you say? It's not proper Japanese, it's the Tokyo dialect. That thing you do. If only you Tokyo people who think all of Japan revolves around Tokyo.
Stop jumping around, you're kicking up dust.
The three noisy people were clattering about, cleaning up the dusty, trash and junk-filled room, even though it was so late at night. I'd rather not think about it, but I hope we're not walking into a scene of them getting my room ready.
You're pretty noisy so late at night.
Anarchy Wayne's here.
I thought I told you to get a room ready for her. Sorry. I did tell them to clean up, but...
Oh, you should talk. You've just been standing around reading books.
But Anarchy, we cleaned it up a lot. Look, it's even clean enough to lie down in.
So you weren't even able to set up a futon. Give us an extra hour and we can do that, sure.
An hour to set up a frickin' futon.
30 minutes more and we'll throw in sweeping and dusting too.
It really is the girl from the hospital. See, I told you.
Oh, for God's sake, why?
I apologize for the mess. These guys will be taking care of you. They know a lot about this city. They'll take care of all your needs.
I'm Rapunzel. I'd be happy if you called me Zell. Ah, great. You remembered your name.
It's a temporary name Madame Rose gave her.
But I like it.
Rapunzel, forgive us, but could you give us a little more time? We'll try to at least make it bearable for tonight.
We did grow up in back alleys after all.
Oh, these must be the kids that were with Wayne earlier.
Oh. I think. I'm sorry. We grew up sleeping on piles of trash and fishing through them, so we sort of suck at cleaning stuff.
We aren't rats anymore. We're humans. It's only natural for humans to live in orderly rooms.
I didn't know if they really had been raised in back alleys like they claimed. However, one thing was clear at a glance. They didn't know the first thing about cleaning or putting stuff away. They tried taking things that were high up and moving them down, or else stacking things in a pile. They might be trying their best to clean up in their own way, but they weren't making any progress.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, but please wait a bit longer.
No, I can't do that. I readied myself and rolled up my sleeves. I was just thinking that it didn't suit my personality to be a freeloader who sat around doing nothing. And anyway, this travesty probably isn't limited to this room. If this is going to be my room, I better give it my all. Or it's more like, I finally figured out my place in all this. I stepped briskly into the room and began giving quick directions. They really did seem to know none of the basics of cleaning up, and they faithfully imitated my every move like a bunch of chicks following their mother. This is actually sort of fun. If I was still alone in the hospital now, I probably would be getting crushed with uneasiness about my memory loss by now.
You've got friends now, so don't worry about it.
In that sense, I must be really lucky right now. Since I have no memory, it means the old me and the new me are different. So it's like the old me died and I've started a new life. In that case, whether I have a fun life or not depends on how hard I work right now. And so, my strange new life without my memory began in this corner of Tokyo known as City 23.
Yay!
As long as you're happy.
The big cleanup stretched from my room to the hallway, to the public area, and even to the rooms of the 3 others. I had dust hurting my throat, ticks on my skin, ticks in my skin, and was almost impressed that they'd ever managed to live like this. However, now that was all in the past. And there you have it. What do you think, everyone? Now this is what they call cleaning.
I never knew it was so bright on the 2nd floor.
I was sure this house didn't have any windows.
It's so big! Someone could even live in the hallway! And the floor's so smooth, you could lie down on it.
And she did. Still, think of all the junk we had.
I still can't believe it. We made such a huge pile in the trash bin.
Still, it feels kind of nice to have a house that's so clean.
I agree. My head feels all clear.
Right? That's a clean house for you. When your house grows stagnant, then so does your fortune. If you clean and tidy up your house, your fortune goes way up. I sort of feel like it has. Feel like something good will happen today.
Don't jinx it!
You're a cleaning master, Zell.
I'm no master. This is just normal.
That's not true. You're awesome. I've always dreamed of living in a clean house like this. Woohoo!
They ran and jumped excitedly around the newly polished house, rubbing their faces on the furniture. These people really do act like dogs despite their age. The big clean had taken several days, I imagine. However, those days had become a great chance to get to know them. First, it seemed like they really were orphans who grew up in a back alley like they claimed. Apparently they had lost their families in the Great Disaster and were forced to literally eat dirt in the past. However, they were so tough that they didn't seem to think of this as something unpleasant. These were the times we lived in. You wouldn't be able to get by if you weren't that tough. They seemed to be positive about everything. Though I ended up scolding them throughout those few days for their bad living habits, I also learned that I had a lot to learn from them.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe. When it's this clean, it makes me want to turn it into an even more wonderful house. Well, we threw the curtains away because they were moldy. Why don't we use this chance to do a little remodeling? Then again, money.
That won't be a problem. Ah, yes. I was told to take Zell to the office about that matter.
Anyway, we've spent all our time cleaning and none of it celebrating, right?
Celebrating? Celebrating what?
Zell, obviously. She's our roommate, isn't she? Our friend, right?
Got that right. She's a friend living under the same roof. If we're getting some money, there's nothing wrong with us having a feast tonight, is there? Normally, it's healthier and cheaper to cook for yourself as much as possible, but events like these are important for good fortune.
You think about fortune a lot, don't you, Zell?
Luck's important. People who lose that end up dead, right? Even Anarchy Wayne said that.
Well, we've survived this long, so maybe we've got that to thank. Fortune isn't something that brutal.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not.
You can affect it as much as you want by changing your attitude.
Yeah?
If we put in the effort, we can make our lives as fun as we want to.
Intriguing.
Well, there's no doubt that our fortunes changed a lot since you came here.
Our house is brighter and bigger. I've been having fun ever since you got here.
Though it'll only last until her memory returns. Until that time, you can live here, and we'll count you as a friend.
Thank you, Oliver. In that case, everyone, we've got a lot to do today. Lots of stuff to buy.
And we must go to the office.
I know a place that'll give us a much delicious Nikuman as much Nikuman as we want. Let's go there to celebrate, Zell.
What even is Nikuman?
I'm not sure if I've had it before or not.
Okay, let's go do it all.
Ah. Hey! Maogi office. Madam Rose is apparently taking care of
My living expenses. The more I learn, the more certain I become that she's a truly incredible woman.
Alright, let's go pay a visit to Richard.
We were headed to the Maogi offices. I'd heard that this luxurious building was the office used by Club Primavera. Apparently, I was going to be picking up my life expenses there for the time being. I really feel guilty about all everyone's doing for me.
When someone helps you, accept it without holding back.
And when it's your turn to help someone else, do it without holding back. Those are Anarchy Wayne's words.
You all respect Wayne-san a lot, don't you? It's not just respect. To us, he's our boss, our dad, our Anarchy.
To put it simply, he's a living legend.
That legendary man, along with Leo and the madam, defeated Father Caleb all by themselves.
Wayne-san also defeated Crazy Alfred. If Leo Shishigami was a legendary man, then Wayne-san truly is a living legend.
He's someone we back alley rats can't help but look up to. The three of them passionately told me about Wayne-san's many feats. It sounded like they were embellishing it a lot, so I took it with a grain of salt, but I could clearly see how much they respected him.
Ah, Wayne's got his own little kids.
However, as I listened to them, a thought popped into my head. These Club Primavera people didn't seem to be honest businessmen exactly. Getting involved in feuds and gunfights wasn't a job for a nighttime establishment. This was totally a story of the criminal underworld. Could it be that these people were some sort of street gang in the service of the mafia?
Maybe? Not really.
There's the office.
Whoa. The street was lined with black luxury cars. Of course, there were also old guys in sunglasses who certainly didn't seem to have an honest profession, all of whom were glaring around them.
Oh? Is someone here?
There's Mononobe-san. The grand boss is probably here.
Just as I had expected. There's no need to be scared. They're all nice people.
Hey, Mononobe! Yo, brats!
Hello there, Mononobe-san.
The three bowed in green to this creepy-faced Mr. Mononobe, who clearly looked like a mafia leader.
Is the boss here?
He'll be done soon. You have some business here? Wayne-san told us to come to the office.
I see. The boss will be out in a moment. Wait here for a bit.
I see. There's a big mafia boss visiting. These guards are probably defending the outside of the building and making sure no ordinary people go inside.
Interesting. Oh my god. Holy shit, Cyrus. Damn, look at you, dude. You looking snazzy as all fuck.
Eventually, a big man in a suit came out of the office. Is that the boss?
He's the grand boss of the Primavera family, Cyrus Saimura.
Yeah, he definitely looks the part of a big mafia boss. Like a man who could decide a person's life or death with a snap of his fingers. No. That face looks like someone who's killed at least 100 people with his own hands.
I'm counting on you, partner. I'll be back.
Indeed. Take good care of things on your end, too. We couldn't play it being mafia like this without your leadership.
I'm not so well suited for it, though.
Kid, look at you. You're well definitely suited.
I fit in a lot better than when I was serving tea and using the typewriter in this tiny office.
That goes for both of us. I'd rather quit being a money lender and focus on childcare.
Yeah! Tell Yuji I said hi.
He's become quite spoiled lately. It's a real handful.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Maurice. Let's go. Yes, boss. Let's go, men.
The stern-faced men piled into their cars. The large boss also got into a luxury car, followed by his guards.
Damn. Really? Suited up Cyrus? I think I like that.
Whoa. He's always so cool.
I won't be treated like a brat forever. Eventually, I'll make my way to the top.
We've got a lot of growing up to do before we get that kind of dignified presence, though.
I want to build a legend like Anarchy Wayne and the boss and become big myself.
Don't yell. We can go inside now, can't we? Let's go.
The calm-looking man who had spoken with the Grand Boss was still standing in the entrance, watching the cars leave. When they saw us coming, the guards standing behind the man stuck their hands into their pockets and stepped forward.
Who are you? Wayne-san told us to come here. Wayne's kids. Is she the girl named Rapunzel?
Yes. My name is Rapunzel. It's a pleasure to meet you.
This is Richard Maogi-san, the family's consigliere.
Consigliere?
The head planning officer of the family, who advises the madam. He's as important as the grand boss.
I merely handle the bookkeeping. I am hardly important myself. If something were to be that important, it would be the contents of the safe that I guard. But let's not talk while standing. Enter. Cyrus just brought in a pot of tea. His tea is delicious even when it cools. You all should have some too.
The Grand Boss really is obsessed with tea, isn't he?
His tea is supposed to be a treat only tasted by a few of his most powerful bosses. This is truly an honor.
Wonder if they'll have snacks too. I'm starving already.
Weren't you eating just a second ago? Sheesh.
Seriously, though, it's actually pretty cool seeing Cyrus in, like, some new digs. He looks pretty good.
We've been invited into the Maogi offices. Then, while drinking some tea that was supposedly the Grand Boss's Saimura's original blend, I was asked to sign several English documents.
Rose told me about you. I hear you've lost your memory.
That's right. But there's no point worrying too much about it, so I'd like to start by looking forward.
Excellent. The young truly magnificent. Rose told me to provide you with living expenses for the time being. On paper, you will be considered as working at one of Primavera's establishments, and receiving a salary for your services.
Despite having heard that, being told to sign a bunch of papers in a language I couldn't read was terrifying to me on the inside. What if I'm signing something that gives them permission to take out my organs while I'm still alive?
There was once a man who said the exact same thing. Though that man left Japan after building a legend in the span of a single night.
Wait, you don't mean...
Indeed. I'm speaking of Leo. He said the same thing when being asked to sign the same papers.
Whoa! If you said the same thing as that legend, you must be a force to be reckoned with yourself.
How surprising. So the legendary Leo Shishigame couldn't read English. His English was truly horrendous. I am a pen is as far as he ever got.
Their conversation was so amicable that my fears of those papers began to fade. Ah, to hell with it. I don't give a shit. I may as well write it. I don't remember it, but I escaped from slavers once already. If these guys are slavers too, I just need to run away again.
Thank you. Also, I have a message for Rapunzel from Rose. She wants to know if you would be interested in sharing a meal with her on Sunday.
Me with Madame Rose, you say? Whoa! Wonder what they'll be serving. Whole roast calf? Or a Manchuhan Imperial feast?
Dumbass! She only invited Zell, not us.
Madame Rose is a busy person. She must have set aside some of her precious time for you.
I've already been given a bed and living expenses thanks to her kindness. There's probably no reason to refuse.
Definitely not.
And anyway, I'm just starting to figure out who these people are. I'll ask her straight up what Primavera is all about.
You could. Okay, the Dawn Shopping District. It's supposed to be a wonderful shopping district, lined with recently opened stores. Strolling around while thinking about what you want to buy is a great way to raise your fortune. I wonder. She keeps bringing up fortunes, so... Fortune. Was it a possibility that maybe her mother was a fortune teller? Or maybe just her parents in general? Maybe. The Dawn Shopping District. That's what was written on the recently built billboard arch. It was a pleasant and flourishing shopping district, lined with several newly built shops.
I was also very surprised to see that the line of shops were all run by Japanese people. These days, the shops in Tokyo were always run by Americans or Chinese people. Japanese shops are supposedly in the process of being driven out of business. In modern Tokyo, it was extremely rare to see a whole shopping district filled with only Japanese shops. City 23 really is wonderful, isn't it?
It is now.
Just a year ago, the city was being run by this nasty guy called Caleb.
It was? It was a terrible time. City 23 was on the point of destruction for a while.
But thanks to Madame Rose, the city's been revived.
To think that the city got this lively in just 1 year. I still can't believe it.
So these days, City 23 is getting rebuilt with all the vigor of a sunrise, just like the name of the shopping district. Huh. I think I can understand. I can feel enormous fortune about this place. I could tell by the people's faces. This city has hope. However, according to them, just a single year ago, the city was run to waste and nearly all the shops disappeared.
God damn it, they're still talking shit about me.
Oh, don't worry about it, Caleb.
Apparently, Madame Rose is the one who had rebuilt from all that. That sweet-looking woman, who didn't seem that much older than me, had achieved such an incredible accomplishment. I was surprised to see her in charge of such a magnificent club, but this was even more surprising. Just what sort of city is City 23? And who in the world is Madame Rose? Zell! How about this store? It looks pretty nice. Shall we have a peek?
We found a shop selling curtains.
Our old curtains were so bad that no amount of washing would have helped, so we threw them away. Without curtains, a room doesn't have a sharp divide between day and night. Being able to clearly separate your daytime and nighttime lives is an essential part of raising your fortune. After all, isn't that right? Do you really think fortune will come to people who let day and night toss them about, without trying to create any sort of schedule?
Ah, I get it. So that's why something always seemed a bit off about our lifestyle until now.
Though it seems a bit dubious that a few curtains can really turn your fortune around.
It does, doesn't it? Then why don't you let yourself get tricked one more time? Like when we clean the rooms. You'll see how wonderful it is to open the curtains and be bathed in morning sunlight.
It does sound intriguing.
I wish I could be like that. I want to get some awesome curtains. He got him excited about curtains.
Oliver, if you don't pick out some curtains you like, Zell and I'll just end up choosing for you. You wouldn't want some cute curtains with flowers on them, would you?
This has ceased to be amusing. I will pick 2.
Apparently they had never thought of spicing up their lifestyle by customizing it to fit their own personal theme. It was only natural. So far, the goal of their lifestyle has been to survive until the next day, and only barely. But it's different now. And they have me now. If they've accepted me as a friend, it's because they want to find some sort of happiness by having me here. That's what I think. We visited several other stores, buying lots of stuff to decorate our lives. I was truly grateful to Madame Rose for giving me enough money to buy all these things.
That's nice.
Who'd have believed the city would spring back so far? You left the city just about 1 year ago, didn't you? That's right. Caleb had chewed the city to bits, and I was sure it was done for. And what do you think now? Don't you think it's becoming one of the few Japanese cities in Tokyo? I came back ready to be scammed, but just look at how much it's changed. It's like I'm dreaming. It's all thanks to Primavera. Can you believe it? The ladies of the evening we despised for making dough by sucking up to those American troops are the ones who saved the city.
They heard bits of conversations like this from the people they passed. Looks like this city really was on the point of destruction just a year ago. Oh yeah. And Madame Rose of Club Primavera saved it.
What on earth did Madame Rose do? How did she revive the city when bad people almost destroyed it once?
Madame Rose took it upon herself to solve several problems in order to save her Japanese countrymen.
And the biggest one was raising wages for laborers.
It just happened all of a sudden one day. Places where you'd normally be happy to get $200 for a day's work were suddenly offering $400.
Laborers aren't fools. When jobs with high wages appear, that's where they'll go.
In other words, you can't employ people anymore at the cheap wages they used to have.
Good. After forming the Primavera family, Madame Rose established even stronger connections with the occupying forces. Through Butler, she even gained a friendly relationship with the City 23 Director General. Another friendly relationship with Don McDowell became a huge weapon as well. Madame Rose succeeded in quickly obtaining the special offers windows, involved with a large portion of City 23's public works projects. The special offers window was truly an aristocratic privilege, a means of snatching up large sums of money by simply passing jobs onto lower-ranking parties. Hordes of corrupt politicians and depraved bureaucrats, members of the criminal underworld, had used this to suck up piles of cash. By shifting responsibility in this way, the end result was suffering for our Japanese countrymen laborers in the form of low wages. In other words, if the old holder of the special offers window didn't exploit it, the budget for the project would be fully reflected in the low-level laborers' wages. As a result, they succeeded in creating a utopia where laborers had double their previous wages, which is great. This became a powerful camphor in restoring City 23, after the Caleb family devastated the foundations for living in the city. Rumors spread, and the people who had left City 23 returned one after another. Where money gathers, people gather. Where people gather, shops gather, and vigor gathers. And so, in a mere year, the city succeeded in regaining the bustle it had lost, and maybe even more besides. As a result, City 23's exploitative wage system was destroyed. That meant the advantages of the City 23 special offers window disappeared, and its value plummeted. When the holders of the other special offers windows could no longer bear this, Madame Rose made contact with them through Don McDowell. She bought up special offers windows one after another, and in the end, she was able to gain possession of the majority. Of course, this also resulted in the transfer of a few $100 million Japanese dollars. However, by now, Primavera had used its solidarity with the occupying forces to gain influence and access to large amounts of credit. The wealth they possessed was on an entirely different level. Influence and wealth. Of course, the force they wielded as the mafia known as the Primavera family was not to be forgotten. And ironically, they're a mafia that benefited a mafia that benefited the city. The final power they used to protect their countrymen was the courage to shed their own blood without fear. Caleb's elite troops from the front lines, starting with that Maurice Mononobe, went on to become Primavera's elites. Thanks to Cyrus Saimura, a man with years of experience putting ruffians in the line, these men formed a united front. The three powers Caleb had once spoken of: influence, wealth, and force. By gaining these three, Madame Rose had created a utopia in this city. This utopia was causing a definite influence on other cities too. Once they heard about high-wage jobs, laborers would no longer settle for heavy labor for low wages. It was said that laborers in other cities were starting to raise their voices, demanding treatment similar to City 23. This would prove to be inconvenient for the special offers window holders in other cities. The journey to reach Madame Rose's ideals was still going to be long and hard. However, it was impossible to see that amidst the bustle of this day.
Madame Rose really is an incredible person.
Damn right she is. Much stronger than she was in the first season.
I thought of her in a friendly way, like she was someone I could probably get along with, but what an amazing person she is. I get the feeling my legs will be trembling the next time I meet her.
She's done a good job helping people, so... Here we go. The chaotic vigor of Chinatown is simply overwhelming. Apparently this is where Charles' favorite Nikomon shop is.
Oh boy.
Nikomon! Meiju, where are you?
For an afternoon snack, we decided to go to Chinatown to try those Nikomon.
Pork buns. Pork buns.
I don't think I've had one before. Charles had recommended. The vast rush of traffic and noise was no different from Chinatown in any city. Apparently, even though I had no memory, I remembered this.
Oh. So maybe you've been to Chinatown before you lost your memory at some point?
Compared to the prosperity of the Chinatowns, American cities were nowhere near as lively. I guess the fact that Asian people can't visually blend into a city of Westerners was a big factor in this. The wall of language is big too. Both the Japanese and the Chinese use Chinese characters in their words, so it was just barely possible to come to a mutual understanding. However, you'd have no luck with English unless you learn the language. Because of that, the American cities felt a bit more desolate than the Chinatowns. They did make some effort to attract Japanese customers, but apparently nowhere near as much as those Chinese shopkeepers. In any event, the fact that Japanese customers might be Japanese or Chinese as long as they kept their mouths shut was important. Even in this crowd, it's unlikely that everyone here is Chinese. In fact, half of the customers might be Japanese. Both the Japanese and the Chinese still held ill feelings remaining from the war. However, as long as they kept those to themselves, nothing bad would happen. And that sort of tolerance was certainly present here. The writing on the fronts of buildings was mostly Chinese, but you could see a lot of Japanese as well. Those robust Chinese shopkeepers didn't seem to show any prejudice against Japanese customers as long as they had money. City 23's Chinatown also seems to be bustling with activity.
That's because City 23 itself is in the middle of a boom.
Chinese shopkeepers are good at business, so they're making a killing. All the cheap and delicious stuff is in Chinatown. Yeah, just smelling it makes my stomach rumble. That's just you being a picky eater. Just try some and you'll get used to it. What about you, Zell? Are you okay with this scent?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm getting hungry too.
You got that right.
That aroma of coils and ingredients.
Oils, why'd I say coils? I'm forgetting how to English.
And ingredients used in Chinese food, which you could only find in Chinatown, gave the place an exotic atmosphere. That scent made me feel at home somehow. Before I lost my memory, I must have been familiar with Chinatown culture.
Chinese descent, maybe?
Surely, I used to live in a city controlled by the Chinese military.
Still, this part is totally Chinatown, isn't it?
That street over there used to be our border with Chinatown. Now it's taking out an entire block further.
Looks like Chinatown's prospering too.
That's part of it, but it's also true that this area was deserted.
Because of the Caleb family, people left their stores and turned the city into a bunch of empty buildings. Then, the people here started buying them up one after another, and so Chinatown expanded.
You see a lot more Chinese people around the city these days, too.
Have you been able to get along well with them?
They don't think of us as anything more than maggots who lost the war.
The feeling's mutual. We ourselves wish those damn immigrants would get out of Japan.
Fights are always breaking out.
Rude as it might have been, the two of them smiled boldly. It felt like little more than students at a pair of nearby middle schools in different districts.
I think it's probably a good thing that we can't understand each other. If we understood each other too well, we'd be able to hear everything we're saying behind each other's backs.
Ignorance can sometimes act as a breakwater.
That might be true. If in the future some sort of automatic translating device was invented and we were able to understand the other side's gossip, the result would probably be a mess.
Probably.
Well, I'm an idiot. If some Chinese guy is talking bad about me, I won't even understand.
That might be pretty important. The truth was, I'd had a strange feeling for a while now. The Chinese was somehow soaking into my ears. What could it be? Why is Chinese so familiar to my ears? I focused on a man yelling in Chinese at the counter.
Are you kidding me, bastard? Lower that price of yours a bit, will ya?
If you don't like it, go home. I've got plenty of customers besides you.
Oh, she can understand it.
What's wrong, Zell?
I think I understand Chinese.
Huh? That's awesome! Are you serious? Then, can you speak it? Can you get them to lower the price of these Nikomon?
You can really speak it? Try saying something. Oh.
Whoa! What was that? What was that? Cool!
I'm surprised. What did you just say?
I said, what a nice day. I'm hungry.
Okay. So, what's written over there?
The next person who throws their trash here dies.
What are those Chinese people saying?
You said tobacco would make me a fortune. Give me my money back.
Awesome!
Damn. Okay, so she can speak and she can understand Chinese. She must have some sort of connection with China, like the Chinese then. But she also knows Japanese too. Even I was surprised. It wasn't as though I had a dictionary in my head. The feelings and meanings of the words just popped into my mind in the most natural way. I probably didn't learn Chinese by studying. I must have picked up Chinese naturally through my daily life. The three of them were astounded by my ability to speak another language, like it was some sort of superpower. But for me, it was as though the stone door to my lost memories was shaking, and I couldn't help but feel dizzy. A feeling of uneasiness that I couldn't describe was welling up inside my head. Oh. Is it really okay for me to be here? Isn't there something I should be doing? It felt as though, in some place I didn't know about, sand was gradually trickling down an hourglass.
Zell, over here. The Nikomon here will knock your socks off.
Before I knew it, I'd been left behind in the crowd. The three of them were waving at me from a stand right in front of me. I'd spaced out and been left behind. The moment I tried to dash forward, I felt a clinging bad feeling and started looking all around me. A city I don't know, filled with people I don't know. Of course, no one would meet my gaze.
Come on, Zell, hurry up. I'm starving here.
What is it, Zell? You spaced out and stopped walking.
Doesn't look like it's just some funny Chinese joke you overheard.
Sorry, it was just my imagination. I forced a smile and went with everyone to the Nikomon stand. If I said I'd felt someone's eyes on me, they'd probably just look at me blankly. Even though we were in a bustling crowd of countless unrelated people passing by, whose names we don't know, and whose faces we can't even see well.
Someone's watching you. Oh! I don't know who you are, but I believe I found my Morgana voice.
From the darkness of an alleyway, a short girl appeared from like a shadow.
She's got a dragon tattoo.
Her eyes were fixed on Zell as she stuffed her face with Nikomon with her friends.
Ooh. We have got our Morgana. And that's where I'm going to end it. Oh boy. Another new face. But thankfully, I've already got a voice ready for her. Specifically, just because she gives me that Morgana feel. Oh boy. She's starting to get a little bit of her memory back. And she can speak and understand and read Chinese. And according to her, it's like it's natural. So, maybe she's actually Chinese. As if Chinese was her native language. But she also studied Japanese too. Possibly. The icing on the cake would be if she knew English too. But I'm not entirely sure about that. Interesting. We're learning a little bit more about Zell. And the way she keeps speaking about fortune. Chinese fortune teller, maybe? Would it be racist if I made a fortune cookie joke? It probably would be. I like fortune cookies, actually. I like little fortunes they can get out of them. Okay, interesting. I wonder. I'm still kind of going with my theory that maybe like her mother was a fortune teller, or maybe her dad was. No, wait. What if her mother was a fortune teller? Or oh, I'm sorry. Let's fix this a little bit, just so I don't get them mixed up. What if one of Zell's parents happened to be a fortune teller, and the other parent was Japanese? So we have a Chinese and a Japanese. Maybe she's both? Maybe she's both Chinese and Japanese, which might explain why the Japanese is coming natural to her as well as the Chinese. So maybe she was raised with both languages. At least that's a theory that I'm coming up with. I'm not entirely sure what answers we're gonna get, but regardless, I'm looking forward to that. I'm liking these little interactions that we're getting with these new characters. I'm starting to understand a little bit more about Charles, Oliver, and Nina. Also, just the fact that they're kind of they think of Wayne as a dad, like Wayne. No, that Wayne is their dad. That's pretty much canon at this point. I like that. Wayne, you got kids to take care of. Good job, buddy. I mean, he always did, but he's they got a home now, which is fantastic. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end it. So if you guys like this, be sure to let me know. I've got a couple things that I got to go take care of. So, thank you all so much for watching. I'm curious about who this little dragon tattoo girl, the girl with the dragon tattoo. Oh, that was a messed up movie in a book. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.